Wounded Hearts, Wounded Churches. We discuss a range of topics that include addictions, religious abuse, and recovery. This live platform offers meaningful questions and answers, a counseling continuum, and valuable feedback from professionals and others who have been through the process and are healed, forgiven, and reconciled. If they can achieve this, so can you. This program can be heard on iHeart, Stitcher, Amazon Music, Pandora, Apple Podcasts, and others. Make no mistake, this podcast sustains and implements three things: healing, forgiveness, and reconciliation within the Church of God. Thanks for listening.
Good day, friends. Good to see you today for the podcast, Wounded Hearts, Wounded Churches. We discuss a litany of different topics on this podcast. We discuss religious situations, different types of addictions, abuse, but moreover, recovery. This live platform offers a counseling continuum and, of course, a live call-in program doing our podcast. But tonight, something special. This is not a live podcast, but you can text in. You can text in. That number is 1-866-538-3664, 1-866-538-3664. Also, you can email me at Wounded Hearts for questions or comments, and we will answer those. And that email is reeeechone@aol.com, reeeechone@aol.com. And we thank you for your communication in the past. You're just wonderful. So, friends, again, thank you. Glad you're here tonight. Of course, we have wonderful staff that works with us here. We have our director, Tennille McLeod. She's a mom, and she homeschools, and she is the editor of Arise magazine. Also, we have Sister Stella Cavan, a mother of 7, a contributor here for this podcast. And of course, she has 2 sons that are pastors, and of course, a nephew that's a pastor, and her other nephew is a minister. So glad to have her a contributing individual on this. Also, we are still mourning Ken Probes. He was working with us here. He was a missionary for years, and of course, he did a lot of work in Alaska. He was a pilot there. He did pass a few months ago, and we're just still mourning him. We're glad to have he was a part of this podcast. Friends, the views and opinions of this podcast agree with the staff people, not all the time, not in agreement, but we want to discuss these important things to be able to reach out to those who've been wounded and hurt in the church. So be advised, some of the content is sensitive and will elicit some listener discretion. But make no mistake, our main focus here is to implement 3 things: healing, forgiveness, reconciliation within the Church of God. So we're working with this podcast for the past almost 2 years, because just the amount of people that you can reach. Can you imagine? 30 million people look at podcasts each week. 30 million people. But this podcast can be heard on Amazon, Google, Pandora in Review, Apple Face, SoundCloud, Truth Social, and YouTube, and also Alexa. So again, get her tonight to be with us. For instance, tonight we have a special guest. She's from West Africa, a place called Nigeria. And can you imagine? They got 230 million people almost there. So it's a major force in Christian work there. Sister Progress is her name. She's heading up a church there. Let's give her a hand tonight for being here. Glad to have her here tonight. Good to have you here.
Thank you.
Right. So
thank you, everyone.
Again, glad you're here. Glad to have you. So
thank you.
We want to talk about, Minister Progress, about this idea of reconciliation and healing. In Nigeria, do you see division or split sometimes in the church there? Do you see division and split?
Of course, I've witnessed. Yes, I've witnessed it in one of our branches. You know, we do pastors transfer every 4 years.
Okay.
So a pastor was transferred to another branch. The members there were not comfortable with the pastor. They preferred the other pastor that left. So thereby not giving attention to the new pastor that was transferred to them. By so doing, it brought church splits in the congregation.
Wow.
Some left. So, but at the time, my father, who is the general secretary of the church, has to go to that branch and had a one-on-one talk with them, and also encourage them more to accept new pastor, because that is the way. You can't hate this pastor and love pastor. All pastors that comes to your congregation, they came to minister. So you need to give them equal attention. So after much talking to the congregation, they were able to accept and they welcomed the new pastor that was transferred to them. But so many left the church. There was crisis. There was commotion in the congregation because a new pastor was transferred to them. But we thank God that everything is in control now.
Mr. Progress, what was the reason? What is it? Was it his preaching style, the way he made decisions, or just what were the reasons that they just didn't at that point want to connect with him?
You mean the reasons?
Yeah, what were the reasons? They just his preaching style? Okay.
No, not the preaching style. You know, some people have one low mentality. When a pastor is being transferred into their church, into their congregation, they will love the pastor to remain and not be transferred.
Okay.
You get me? Yeah. Okay. So, like the pastors in my congregation and in my church, they do their best to minister to people.
Sure.
So, but the members itself, they want one pastor, and that's not good. A pastor should be transferred from one congregation to another. So a pastor cannot remain in one church. And secondly, according to the members there, they said the pastor, the wife was sick. The wife was very sick. So they said they can't take care of the sick wife because it will cost them much money to take care of the sick wife. So that was the second reason they gave, that the wife is sick and they can't take care of her. But it's unfortunately that the wife later died.
Wow. Sad. And I'm sure that had an effect. Her passing had an effect, I'm sure, didn't it?
Yes, it really had an effect. But everything is in control because the wife has been sick for so many years. Yeah. She has been sick for so many years before she was transferred to that congregation. Though the congregation, they were not financially stable to take care of her. They're judging from their own side. They were not financially stable. They're just poor widows, children attending the church. So they said they can't take care of the wife. But we tried our best to make sure that the woman gets treated. But as the Lord may have it, she died and she's been buried. But the pastor is congregation still ministering. Yeah, the pastor is still there with the child, one child.
Well, what did your father do? How was he able to reconcile? What did he say? What did he do? How to bring those back together once they had left?
Okay. Once they left, it is one of the members that called him on phone and they explained the incidents to him of how everything happens. So on Sunday, he went to service with them over there. So after church service, he called everybody together. And we thank God that all of them came to church that very Sunday. So he called everyone together. He started admonishing them. He told them that they should be willing and able to welcome any pastor that was transferred to them. That is the law from old. It is not a new thing. And in the scriptures, the servants of the Lord, they were being going to one nation or the other, preaching the gospel of Christ. They can't stay in one nation. According to the Bible, he said, go into the world and preach the gospel to every creature. So they should be willing to accept any pastor that came into their congregation to minister, not just one pastor, in so many ways, and also telling them to be able to forgive one another, not having any grudge to anyone. We are all one, laboring in Christ Jesus. So you don't have to have any hatred or grudge in you concerning your brother or concerning any pastor. We should all work together as one, because we are striving to one place, and that is heaven. That is where all of us are striving to. So nothing remains in this earth, because it's a permanent place. So he also went further to encourage them to start coming to church, and also helping the pastor as little as they can. It's not much that they will take care of her 100%, but as little as they can, they should be willing to do. So after the meeting that very day, they went to their houses, and the next Sunday there was a good turn up. The Lord went into their heart and ministered each and every one of them, and they were able to consider and also reconcile.
Greetings. Wounded Hearts, Wounded Churches is a weekly podcast reaching out to the disenfranchised, disconnected, or wounded. Remember, you are not forgotten. You went through a debilitating situation. As a result, we are reaching out to you in love with forgiveness, reconciliation, and healing. We also offer an exciting magazine called Arise. It's an excellent fit for class discussions or personal devotions. Arise can be purchased through our website or by calling 478-784-7600. This podcast was designed by Church of God for Church of God. Don't go away. Stay tuned for more exciting conversations. Thanks for listening.
Friends, we're back again for the podcast, Wounded Hearts, Wounded Churches, with Sister Progress. She's from West Africa, Nigeria. Okay. Some good information. We're talking about reconciliation. Yes. We're talking about how your dad went over and caused those to come back together and reconcile. Sister Progress, yes. When the people left the church, did they go home, or where did they go? New churches, or were they just sitting home?
Yeah, some people, not everyone left. Some left and were not able to come back anymore. Wow. They started attending other churches. They didn't go home to rest. They started attending other churches.
Wow.
So the ones that left, they were faithful and they committed and also devoted to the things of God. While some that left went for other churches.
And of course, go ahead, please.
So, but some few months later, about two women came back. Wow. About two women came back with the intention that the messages they are receiving from other churches were not a true gospel. Mm-hmm. So they need the true gospel, which is in Church of God. So that prompted them to come back. But other ones that left remain. But two came back after some months. Yes.
All right. Sister Progress, how can people contact you, the Church of God there? What is your email, your phone number, etc.? How can people contact you?
How? I didn't get you.
Okay. Okay.
Please repeat.
How can people
Repeat.
contact you?
Okay. You can contact me through my email, or I can as well give you my pastor's email address.
Okay, that's fine.
Yes, I'll forward my pastor's, which is my father. I'll forward the email address to you, so you can contact him there, or you can as well contact me through my own email address. I also have a Western Union address where any fund can be sent to. Yes. So I'll forward my pastor's email address to you immediately after the meeting.
That's fine. That's fine.
Yes.
So, friends, we're going to conclude the podcast at this point. And again, we're going to have another session with Minister Progress, because she was talking about the forgiveness and how her dad was able to bring those folks back together in unity, and how he had to get rid of the grudges and the unforgiveness. We're going to talk about that next session, so please return. This is Wounded Hearts, Wounded Churches. We're going to come back again next week for our special guest here, Sister Progress. She's in West Africa, Nigeria, and I'm telling you, 300 million people almost there. It's a major force there. She's Church of God, and we just want to find out more about that. And we have her information too here. We have her email, et cetera, et cetera. So if you want to support them, you can let us know. We will forward her information to you. So, Sister Progress, we'll see you next week. To our director, thank you so much. And those who've called in, have a good day. May the Lord bless you.